Hello, my name is McCoy Hill, and today I'll be presenting on a short case given at the end of Chapter 2 in the text entitled The Tax Return. Just to give a little bit of summary background on this case, we're talking about a young lady named Brenda. Brenda is an accountant at a tax accounting firm, and she's working on a tax return for a man named Mr. Cohn. Brenda goes to her manager, Vincent, and has this issue, and essentially Vincent pressures her to not include lottery winnings from Mr. Cohn in order for him to have a lower tax expense. Brenda knows this act to be illegal, but Vincent justifies the act by saying it's going to be a one-time thing, and lots of people in the company have been loyal when asked to do similar things. So looking at Kohlberg's 6 stages of moral development, we can begin to see in each stage what Brenda may be thinking. So first, in the first level, the pre-conventional level, we'll look to obedience to the rules. Now, strictly being obedient to the rules and authority, one would think Brenda would think she needs to do what her boss says. That's a person of authority, and she needs to listen to what he has to say. Moving to the second stage, which is satisfying one's own needs, Brenda's needs may be the same as her boss's. They both need this job, they both need to keep this client, and her needs would probably suggest to agree with Vincent, her boss. Moving on to level 2, conventional. In the third stage of this moral development, we look at fairness to others. And here, loyalty to her coworkers may come into play. She may think that she needs to be loyal to her coworkers, just like Vincent had suggested. 4, we look at law and order. Now, Brenda clearly stated that this was against the law. And looking at this 4th stage, I think it would be fair to say that Brenda could think she needs to disobey the orders of her boss and obey the law, which would be to report the winnings. Moving on to level 3, post-conventional. If we go to stage 5, the social contract would suggest that Brenda needs to do what's right for society. In this case, the basic rights and legal contracts of society would urge Brenda to report the earnings and be steadfast to her boss in regards to obeying what she knows to be true. Level 6, universal ethical principles. Now, under this stage of thinking, Brenda would know that this universal principle of right and wrong is her decision, and it doesn't matter what her boss has to say to influence her. She would know that this is something she needs to do to obey the law. And in preparation for this meeting with Vincent, she should consider responding to reasons and rationalizations. Now, the GVV analysis gives us 4 points to consider when dealing with rationalizations. First, what are the main arguments? Well, this is an isolated incident, is what Vincent is saying. This is a one-time thing and it won't happen again. What's at stake? Well, the business of a very significant client is at stake. What levers can you use to influence those with whom you disagree? In this case, Vincent needs to know, and Brenda needs to explain to him clearly that this is an illegal act, and the law does not withhold his argument. And lastly, what is your most powerful and persuasive response? In this case, I think Brenda can explain that this is an illegal and unethical behavior that she's not willing to participate in, and these types of acts lead down a slippery slope that she's not willing to go down. Now, the third question in the text talks about what if Brenda accepts this pressure in the first year, and next year Vincent comes back to her with a very similar thing with the same client. What is Brenda to do? Now, in my opinion, Brenda should do what she should have done in the first place. She should have been thinking in a stage 5 or a stage 6 area where she would know that the social contract says that she needs to act in a certain ethical way. She needs to obey the law, and she should do that for sure the second time if she hadn't done it the first.